We're live now.
We're live now.
Now we're live?
We missed all the preamble.
Are we live?
Are we live?
There's nobody
Anyone
here,
out there, if you
but
can
we are
focus.
definitely
Are
live.
we alive? That is the question. Is this existence real or are we
I thought you nailed it. Did you actually, did the little snaily thing play in the beginning?
It did, but I might not have hit the live button. I think you had to hit it twice, and I might have hit it only
So
once.
we're just showing up right now. So
But
no
the-
one got,
No, got an intro?
But the
are you
camera
actually
looks.
no, I don't think we're seeing it. Do we need a different internet
We're out of focus.
connection? Oh, and you're out of focus.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, we're a little bit out of focus.
We're live, but we're a little bit out of focus.
Yeah, we're a little out of focus.
Doesn't that autofocus?
It should, yeah.
Well, folks, you can tell.
Once again-
Technology is our middle name.
Like I said,
No, we're in focus now.
Remember we said Bob wasn't a farmer? I want to add something else.
a lot of focus, a lot of focus.
Is it
A lot of focus, focus.
Is it focusing on my hand?
It focuses on your hand fine.
Yeah, you gotta go further back. No, you gotta come
No, you
closer
got to
to
bring
us.
it.
I know. I think it's.
How is that going to work?
I think it's not. I think it's broken.
What? Is there stuff in the way of the camera? You have a lot of, it looks like stuff
No.
in front of it. No?
No, sorry, folks. Technical difficulties
us.
once again.
It's clearer, it's clearer.
I like it when we get to look up his nose.
It's clearer up close, Bob, so just
No, I know. I think. Well, I mean,
close up. Yeah. Try that, see how that goes.
I need to drink something. Hand me your beer, will you? You're going to do the preamble, so you can't, you certainly can't be drinking that during your preamble. I'm going to open wine.
it's
I've had enough of this.
it's out of focus. I think the camera's broken.
Well, you're in focus, Bob. I'm fuzzy over
That's
here.
why I think the camera's broken.
Yeah.
Why? Or is it dirty? Is the
I think
lens
it,
dirty?
It was dropped or
clean the
something.
lens?
It was dropped.
You dropped it? I mean, it was dropped?
It was
That's okay.
dropped.
So Ken's in focus, so we're good.
I'm gonna do something here.
Look at this, look at this, nickel cork, nickel cork. Perfect.
Right.
Look at that. There you are.
It's a blur.
Now we can start. You need to, Bob's having a little trouble over there, Marika.
jeez.
I like the delay. You can turn the volume down now.
At least everybody can be heard. That was something.
So are we actually live?
So Ken's
Are we
Here,
out
you
there?
can take over.
Wine while Bob and Marika work out our technical details. And for whatever reason, we didn't get the intro today, but in the intro, we were explaining that we just came in from a motorcycle.
So we're having a trapiche,
A trapiche.
Oak Cast Malbec from Mendoza
Mendoza.
from 2008.
Tried to send
No
the invitation
way.
to me, but I'm not
Correct.
getting
It's
it.
not actually, no way. It is a recycled bottle,
But this bottle has meaning too, right? Because
and that's Bob's writing right there.
That is.
2009.
This bottle was a part of our wine experience that we had pre-winery, where we learned all about
This
the
was
wines of
in
the
this.
world.
This was in this barrel.
This was in this barrel as well.
That one right there.
So this barrel was pre-winery as well, right?
It's gonna need a little breathing time.
Ken's-
14 years.
Oh my God.
14
this
years
is
ago, this was fermented.
A Malbec.
No, this is not a Malbec.
It's not a Malbec? Oh,
This is
Cab.
a California
Oh,
Cabernet.
California Cab.
Marika, wine?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, okay.
Huh? Good.
So,
Have another glass, please,
yes,
sir.
you may.
Thank you.
So this, wow, there's so much. So this is what we're going to be talking about.
Bob, wine?
The,
You working?
yes.
You working or something?
The story today is about this barrel, right?
It is about the barrel. It's all about the barrel. It should be about the barrel.
Do you have me there?
Barrels are really good
almost.
things.
So I gotta figure out a way to set this up.
Cheers.
As the camera.
Cheers.
So I gotta figure out a way to set this up.
If you're out there, you can hear us.
Remove this one.
Text us if you can hear us. Put a comment.
Can you text us if you can hear us? Put a
Let us
comment.
know how you think about it.
Remove the blurry one. Yeah, there you go.
Thumbs up,
Let's give a vote.
thumbs up, down.
Thumbs down. Technical activity here.
Balancing
That's
the
much
phone.
clearer.
Balancing a phone on the side of the last.
You're not helping, Ken. You know that.
It's stressing you out a little bit, but you know, you're good under stress. That's when you
It's stable, but you can't.
Yeah.
You have to just curve it a little bit.
Patience, patience.
That angle's actually not bad. But like, you can't see all these ones behind us.
You guys will be all set in a moment.
Well done to you. This was made in my
This was made in my barn. This is with the big President, big hole, 12-foot hole.
You guys are out on
You guys are on the end of that.
I'm on the end of a
I'm on the end of a
10-foot
10-foot hole that's lodged between the legs of the press. It twists
as you
and why you crank
How's that?
because we
you
want
want
to
to
that
get
looks great,
many
actually.
chances. Oh no,
Because we're
because
getting-
you didn't want to waste that drop.
we didn't realize that
Hey, you doing a show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Right behind you.
All right. Bob, get.
Winery involved.
So,
wine,
yeah,
there
we're
you
a
go.
little off today. We're down in the cellar.
There we
Switched
go.
our.
You deserve it now. Well done. You did it. I knew you would do it.
Cheers.
So yeah, we switched our opening hours. So we're open until 6 now. And I was on tastings today, and it was a busy day at tasting
Wow.
bars. So I was finishing up some tastings. Got down here a little late, but
Something new at the tasting room too. We're serving slushies.
you have slushies at the eatery now.
In the taste, 7 days a week slushies.
Frosé all day.
Rosé all day.
Which is great.
Now, if it only wasn't, if it only wasn't 52 degrees outside.
Not even wanting to do the preamble. He doesn't even care.
Well, because that's
All
the
the
thing,
technical
We did it
things
already.
all done.
They just missed it because I was playing with the cameras.
Let's get down to business.
Yeah, frosé all day. I like that. I like. So what is the frosé of the day?
currently we have strawberry rhubarb and an elderberry red scare blend. So, and this is great because
There's two frosés.
two frosés.
Well,
no, one
one's a
frosé,
rosé.
one
One's a
Fred.
Fred. One's a Fred. One's a Fred. and
Oh
one's a
my goodness.
rosé.
Oh, it's really, we've deteriorated so badly.
My goodness, today's gonna be one
Yeah.
of those.
What's
It's
wrong
going to
with
be
the
one of
Fred?
those special
We've
days.
got a lot
What's wrong with
of
the
We have a
Fred?
lot to
Frozen
do today.
red.
We have a lot to do today.
But
Yes.
it's great having the slushie machine here because on rainy weekends, like it was this weekend, we closed the garden. You know, it's silly to go. Nobody wants to sit outside in the rain and have slushies out there.
But yeah, a lot of people want to have slushies in the rain on the day.
But at least you can.
Did we sell any slushies today?
I don't think so. It also, it's not printed on our menu yet.
Oh,
We have
wow.
to reprint the menu.
And there's no big arrow that says
And there's nobody
Rosé.
saying,
I've been
just so you know, we
about-
have slushies
Fred
downstairs. Anyway, why are we here today?
for this.
It's a special day today. This very special barrel.
Baby.
So I should tell everybody, first of all, who's with us today? We got some friends
We
on?
have some friends on. Priscilla has joined us. Christine has joined us.
Thank you for persevering
Karen
through
is
our
here.
chaos.
Chuck.
Chuck's here.
Here.
You're here.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Oh yeah. I started saying hi.
Ooh, Tom, you name. Hi, Tom. Welcome.
Hi, Tom. Welcome. Welcome to the show.
He did a tour with us recently.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Excellent. Oh, I remember that. Yes, I think I remember him mentioning he might
Sorry, we're
come
not
on.
good with names.
Yeah.
But please have you all on. If you are on and haven't made yourself known, please do. Let us know what you're drinking.
Yeah,
us
let us know what
up
you're
to this
drinking.
week. And I want to know.
Yeah, Tim, come.
Yeah, if you before we do that, if you are joining us for the first time, please ask questions. Ask questions. Make a comment if you like, and if you like the broadcast, like it. Oh God! If you like what we're doing, like it. Subscribe under Chuck if you're on YouTube. There's a little bell if you're on Facebook. Subscribe to our channel. You'll know whenever we go live. We go live every Monday at 5:30, and then occasionally from some other random spot around the globe. And so please subscribe to our channel and share with your friends. And if you do
It's
like
gonna be a
it,
lot of fun.
you can like it right now, or you can wait to the end and see if you like it, as Ken would suggest, because there's a possibility that after the mayhem that we're going through right now, you're not going to like it, and you probably will never want to watch this again. But that's okay.
It's fun. We do have some interesting beverages in the audience.
speeches.
Matt is drinking Gladden in the rain.
Oh, wow.
Karen got a bottle of Ozark, one of our new.
Oh,
Nice.
excellent.
She was in recently. Christine has heirloom crab apple.
Go ahead, let's go.
And what do we have?
What do we have? So what are we doing here? Now we can talk about what we're doing.
I can't quite talk yet.
Yeah, we started
Still
to talk
laughing?
about
I was
this
laughing too hard.
while, before the,
Ah,
while during
wow.
the mayhem. But it's a great story, right, Ken?
What?
This one.
This barrel.
So we have
No,
this
one we're
little.
drinking. No, we're talking about what we're drinking right now.
What are we talking about?
What are we doing?
What are we drinking?
Because Mariko came in late. She was late.
I just ruined everything.
You got time?
I'm supposed to keep him in check, and I came late, so I threw everything off. And
Yeah.
It's all your fault.
it's all my
Had
fault.
nothing to do with us.
Nothing to do with us.
You were not motorcycling over.
Doing my job. Ken, what is this wine?
Yes. What is this wine?
This is a wine that was made in my garage barn.
I know what this is.
14
I was
years
asking
ago.
Ken.
14 years ago.
14 years ago, in the fall, almost 14 years, in the fall of 2009, we brought in a bunch of grapes from California, Cabernet Sauvignon grapes. And then we fermented those and then pressed off the wine from the grape skins. And we pressed and pressed and pressed.
Is this the 14-foot
This is the
beam?
long beam. And we're out there, and I've got a beam between the legs of the press, holding it, trying to somewhat anchor
Well,
to the
Chuck and I are
sand.
both
You and
fully
Chuck are
on.
the very end.
Steel rod.
That's right.
So when you make wine, make red wine, wines that are fermented on the skins, you get a choice to craft the nature of your wine. How long do you leave it macerating on the skins? How hard and when do you press it? Dictates the character of the wine that you get in the end. For a very delicate fruit forward, you tend to just take the free run. So you just strain off the liquid that'll flow out of there. If you want a big, hearty, tannic, dry red wine that might last decades, then you squeeze the heck out of it. Amarones are great at taking big, strong wines and then pressing hard to do that. We, on the other hand, I don't even know that we knew that at that time because we were fairly new to this whole process of understanding the nuance and the choices that we could make. And yet we were very frugal. We paid a lot of money for these grapes, so we didn't want to miss a drop
Not a drop.
of this.
We have hose wine we put in the bottle.
We saved everything,
We had bedpan wine, which is a whole nother story. We had
not for public consumption, probably.
consumption.
No pun intended.
I don't think there's anything we have left.
Yeah, no.
So
So
I-
what's really neat about this, though, is at that time we had been making wines from grapes and various fruits for a couple of years up until this point. And in 2008, we put blueberry wine in this barrel.
Before
After
this
we-
one?
Yeah, after we had had 2 red wines in this barrel.
oh, so this was before though the blueberry?
No,
Or
after.
This was after. Okay.
I don't know if it was immediately after. It's in this book that I have trouble trying to figure out.
My feeling about this is their 2009 cab. I'm guessing,
No,
Yeah.
and I'm guessing that this is a wine that's going to hold up for the next 20 years.
It's
Every time I drink
think
this wine.
This is the best tasting of this wine I've ever had.
Yeah, it's getting better and better. Maybe not 20, but it's got another 10 in it anyway.
Tannic is actually
Yeah.
got a lot of grip. What's really nice is there's a nice spicy
But the fruit is coming.
character coming through. And lingering on the fruits coming
So-
out. I think another 10 years. This is 14
I think
years.
another 10 years, easy. So for those of you who are just joining us for the first time, sounds like we have at least 1 or 2 people that might be. This wine was, as I think was mentioned, was made before we were even a winery. And when we were in the learning stages, we used to import grapes from California and Chile because that was our way of learning how to work with traditional fruit. People have been making grape wine for thousands of years, so we wanted to learn the techniques that people were using so that we could learn the skills necessary to apply to the fruit that's growing here in our region.
This changed really fast. When we first poured it,
How could it? You drank it really fast.
we've been on the show for 20 minutes now.
20 minutes?
Look at
Really?
us. Do we? I mean, well, I guess because he hasn't been talking, he's just been.
Yeah, so what's next?
What we do is we've got 6 more wines to get.
No, I don't think we're
I
going to
don't think we're gonna open all of
Yeah,
those.
Okay, good.
Chuck needs to get home tonight.
So now we've talked about this wine. Let's talk about what this barrel means, because this is a really special barrel, and all of this blue painter's tape has a major significance to this barrel.
Yeah, you can see some that are old and faded. You know, Passion Popper was in this.
2000. What's the oldest written date on here?
I think there's 10.
10,
This is
12.
14. I
10.
think that's
think
probably
10.
10 is the
11.
oldest. 10 is the oldest.
So before
That's
that,
written on
you
there.
just tore the
No,
tape
I
off. or-
took the tape off because I was running out of space. But a few years ago, I was just like, okay, I'll just keep putting the tape on it. This one's kind of faded.
So this barrel is special because your father gave this to you, right?
Yeah, well, he bought it for us in exchange for some wine that we were making. So he said, hey guys, I like your enthusiasm. I like what's going on here. We didn't have any money. You were furloughed. This was before Balsams. This was, this was a small scale hobby. We didn't have much money to put into it. But we wanted a barrel. So my notes from our 08s and 07s, I'm putting oak spirals in the carboys and the fermenters, trying to get some kind of structure. But we really wanted a nice oak barrel. And this scale worked out well. It's 20 gallons. So we could get enough, make 4 batches in 5-gallon buckets, and then rack them into this barrel to fill it up. And it's a French oak barrel, and it's always just added a really nice character to the wine. So some of my favorite vintages of any wines have come out of here. The very first vintage of Deep Blue Reserve
Oh yes.
came out of here, and we have a bottle of that, 2013.
Oh, we got to open that.
Very first time I tried putting Red Scare in a barrel, went in here 2011. We have a bottle of that. The very first time I assembled what we ultimately called Hermitage, which was blueberry, elderberry, and cassis. I called Beck. You had a bottle of that. And I have a bottle of 2012 Hermitage that went through this barrel.
Wow.
There have been some really great wines that have gone through this.
So the significance of each of these pieces of blue tape, you can't see from there all of them. They go onto both sides. But with each batch of wine, Ken would label the wine and put a piece of painter's tape on here so we could track the barrel.
And some of these have like 4 that relate to one wine. Like here's that says that elder, dandy, daylily, elderflowers. Those became flower power.
So 4 different wines aged
So
at different
4 different
times, or
ones.
did
No,
you
they were
bring all
aged
together?
Well, I put the flowers into the carboys of 3 honey. Once the flower infusion took place,
Oh, and then put
I
them
wrapped
all
them
4
all
together.
into this barrel
Yeah.
and let it sit there for another year.
So
That's what goes into the flower power.
for those of you who don't know, barrels are what winemakers use to spice their wine. We often say here that the barrel is to the winemaker what the spice cabinet is to the chef. And barrels contribute lots of different things, from the flavor of the wood, from the flavor of the wine that used to be in the barrel, or whatever was in the barrel before what you put in it is in there. The toasting of the barrel affects the
medium
flavor. The aeration, the microoxidation of air.
And smaller barrels have more surface area to volume than a bigger barrel.
Right.
So things happen faster.
And a barrel has about 3 years before it can no longer give really tannins and oak flavor.
Yeah, but this keeps doing it.
It
I don't
keeps
know
doing
how.
it.
It's magic. It's totally magic. Look at all the wines that have gone through this.
Yeah, I know.
For 10 years.
But you don't. But we don't get a lot of strong oak.
No.
So
no.
it's not giving a lot of oak flavor.
No, no, no,
if you,
no, it doesn't.
a barrel this size would, if it was new, would really be
Yeah,
a
some of
powerful
those I did
oak
like
flavor.
3 or 4 months and then I pulled them out.
Yeah.
Because that was it.
So it's
Enough time.
lost its ability to give you that
Could it be this
oakiness.
particular barrel with so many pieces of blue tape on it are getting blue tape flavors?
I doubt it.
Well,
That would be
That's why the
amazing.
blue,
I put it on the metal.
it's on the metal, not
Put it on
the
the
wood,
Oh, except over
mostly.
here, but don't look at that.
Because there's so many pieces of blue tape with different wines that have all been in here and have soaked in there.
How many
Maybe
beers did he
put-
have before we
you
started
put
the show?
A
Like
new
half.
wine in every time. Maybe are you pulling a little bit of the je ne sais quoi from
Blue tape?
all of the? That's a joke. I thought it was a good joke.
Is he doing a joke?
So I'm moving
Well,
on.
you're
more
laughing, so maybe it is
serious,
funny.
serious stuff now. Are we getting a little bit of 2008, a little bit of this, and a little bit of that, and a little bit of
course.
daylily?
Oh, yeah.
Everything that goes
No,
in
no
that barrel.
daylily in this one, because this was before the daylily.
That didn't look daylily. Because this was
But
before the
if you make
This is
it
blueberry.
if you make it to the end of the show, if you actually survive, I'm gonna pull a sample of what's in this
No.
barrel and put it in your glass.
Saves
Yeah.
But
You gotta be
Stay
you
tuned.
gotta
I know
survive.
you're just about to click onto like kitten videos or something. This is going to be exciting.
Sailing
So
video.
what happens, so of course the wine, whatever you put in the barrel gets absorbed into the wood. So the wood puts the wine, or puts flavors into the wine puts flavors into the wood.
Correct.
So what do you do in between wines? How do you clean this barrel?
Thoroughly.
It's never been cleaned.
What?
This one's never been cleaned.
Do you rinse it?
I rinse it.
But just water?
Right. But it's never been sterilized, put a bunch of OxyClean into steam, none of that.
So
It's just stayed live.
It is the character of everything that's written on.
So I try to time it so that when I'm taking a wine out of this, I have the wine ready to put into it.
So to be
And
clear,
depending on the wine, sometimes I don't even rinse it.
No, the wine is silk.
yeah, that's fine. But when you rinse it, all of the liquefied wine is gone because you've washed it away with the water.
Right.
So the only remaining character is what has soaked into the wood.
Yeah.
That's really what it's for.
Yeah.
It gives a character. Well, this clearly has character.
Sometimes people will work with what are called wet barrels that you get from, a distillery or something like that.
It
And
actually
comes
still
in
has some
with
of
a
the
little bit,
ingredient.
and you can make a choice of just put your material right on top of that, incorporate it, or take it, rinse that out, and then fill it up.
Can I ask sulfur? Not sulfur.
Yeah, sulfur.
It depends on the wines, but most of these have had sulfur at some point, typically before they go in the bottle, to protect them during the bottling. And then just after fermentation, if I'm not worried about malolactic fermentation, then they'll get some sulfur.
And also, if you were to, maybe this is what Matt's referring to, if you wanted to hold this barrel over empty for a few weeks or months,
That's probably what he's referring to,
You
right?
might
If I was going to hold
sulfur
it
it.
empty, then I would sulfur it. And some people do
What
it
is that?
dry.
What is that process?
Well, some people drain out the barrel, rinse it, and then they take a piece of the mineral sulfur, which is a yellow mineral, and put it on a piece of wire and light it. And it burns like a match. It's got a blue flame and smells like rotten eggs. And you put that inside the barrel and put a bung in it, holding that wire so that sulfur is suspended down in the barrel, and it's giving off sulfur dioxide.
as soon as you put it in the barrel, the flame goes out and it turns to smoke or
Flame
the
will
gas.
go out after a while, yeah, once all the
Because the
oxygen in there
oxygen
is
is gone, yeah.
consumed, and then it's just smoking away, giving off its sulfur dioxide, and that saturates the wood.
And it's sealed, so whatever the gas that's produced
stays in there.
stays
And that
in
lasts
there.
about 2 or 3 months, and then you have to sulfur it again.
Yeah. But you could also fill it up with sulfur,
In water.
water with sulfur in the water.
That's what I prefer to do, mostly because if you let the barrel completely dry, the wood shrinks. And then when you're going to use it again, you have to re-swell it so that it doesn't leak. When you get a brand new dry barrel and you put water into it, it leaks.
And I would imagine when it shrinks and actually starts leaking and the staves get loose, you increase the possibility of bacteria
Oh, I would think so, going
infection.
between the staves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like all of my barrels that are empty of wine are full of water, ozonated water actually, metabisulfite, sulfur, and some citric acid that actually enhances the activity of the sulfur. So it's a combination of those. And that keeps the barrel clean. Every 2 or 3 months I add a little bit more sulfur to make sure that it stays sweet smelling, they call it.
Yep.
Term. All right, let's open another wine.
Yeah.
How about the 2011 Red Scare? That's this sticker right here.
Yes.
So while we have another question for Matt, do you ever add argon into the wine?
Argon is a gas that's a bit heavier than air. It's a noble gas. It's inert. It doesn't get combined with other things. But if you put gas in a barrel, it's going to escape. Barrels breathe air in and out. If you're in a stainless steel tank that has some headspace above the wine, then argon or nitrogen or CO2 can be used to expel the air that's in there, which is mostly nitrogen, but it's got a good chunk of oxygen in it, which you don't want necessarily to be involved with the wine. Is it gonna work? Oh, well done.
Look at that nice cork.
Yeah.
A little bit of seepage there, but
no
doesn't-
problem there.
Oh, look, it might have gone all the way up.
I remember we bought those. They had a special on the bag. This was in this from March until October
Of 11.
of 2012. So it's a
So March-
2011 vintage.
March 2011?
Nope. So it was all 2012. So it was fermented in the
It says
fall.
2011 on here.
Yeah, it's a 2011 vintage.
Oh, okay.
So it was fermented
Ah, yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
September, October, got through fermentation, got through its malolactic, and then it was put into this barrel. And then it came out
This is
in
different.
October. And then immediately after that, it looks like we had another batch of elderberry.
It's very, it's different.
It's very different. This is not.
Yeah.
This is something.
not red
This has
spirit, no.
changed. I think in a way. I think it's been oxidized. No, I haven't tasted it yet. But the nose on it has that raisiny
Yeah, it
character.
does. And it's different fruit than it currently is.
The only thing that's different back here, well, this is a good example of what, remember I talked sort of about ricocheting as I converge on wines, and I get to make a wine once a year. And so each year I try to progress and move the wine more towards what I want. So to me, this is much thinner, much more honey rich, and it's aged out. It's gone over that aging point, which is what you were probably picking up.
Yeah,
Look at the staining on the inside of the bottle.
yeah. It's definitely
Sorry,
past.
you hold that up.
It tastes nice. I mean, it's got that raisin character that I kind of like. That you know, when you have a wine that's moved a little bit beyond.
The older
But
red
it's not red
spirits are
scare
lighter,
anymore.
were lighter anyway. They were much more like a mead, a mellow that's more honey forward. And starting in 2015, I really started to push it more towards a red wine territory. So prior to that, it was more of a mead, a honey richer honey component.
It's still got honey on it.
Yeah, it still has a honey.
And,
For sure.
and actually, the raisin character was what came off immediately, but as it's opened up in the glass,
So this is a good note, I think, for everybody out there. If you have a wine that's been trapped in a little bottle for 10 or 12 years, when you pull that cork and pour it into your glass, don't judge it by that first aroma. It's gonna change. It's gotta open up. It's
Yeah,
gotta sit
yeah.
there and
It's
evolve
changed very
and
rapidly.
change. And it will change a lot.
I don't get so much raisin anymore. I get more honey.
I don't taste the rest at all.
Now the fruit's coming out.
Yeah.
It is amazing how, especially, and a small bottle like that, a 375 ml, ages a wine faster than a 750 ml.
Ooh.
Right? It's coming
Oh,
along.
it's coming
Right?
out nice.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's,
It's got a lot of grip.
yeah, it's got great tannin. I believe this has some autumn berries in it.
Right
It
there.
was, it's blackberry. The front has it too. Has some percentages.
No autumn berries yet. Blueberry, blackberry.
Yeah, that was 2011. We
Black currant.
Yeah. It's very black.
there's
Black
it.
currant.
Yeah. We got that from Vermont. Right?
Oh, that was in Vermont? Was
Yeah.
that? No. 2011. Maya and I picked these at Apple Hill Farm at Chuck Souther's
Oh wow.
by hand from his bushes there.
So
And
this-
I liked the black currant so much the next year. So this is crazy. I was exploring. I didn't even decide on the blend yet of what Red Scare is.
You worked on that for years before you settled in on what it is.
Yeah, the
today.
last 4 vintages have pretty much been quite similar.
Yeah. So this was made during this. If anybody remembers all the way back to the beginning when we opened our winery at my house in Samberton, this was made in that late summer, in the first 2 or 3 months when we first opened at my house. That's when you were down in the cellar making this.
That's right. Because we did a 2010 vintage in your cellar.
Yep.
We didn't open the doors till 2011.
We have a good question from
Oh,
Tom.
coming out nice.
Wondering, since this barrel isn't really giving as much of a character anymore, though it does still, surprisingly, is still giving some, have you ever added oak chips or blocks or the spirals? Have you ever added those to this barrel?
And behind your chair is a couple open bottles of wine, so don't
Be
get up
careful.
real quickly. Great question. So, like Bob was saying, as an oak barrel is used, it gives off some of its oak flavors and tannins, and after a few vintages go through there, it loses that ability to give quite a bit of oak and character to it. It's still micro-oxygenating the wine effectively, breathing and helping build structure in the wine. So if you want, excuse me, oak flavors from your wines in a neutral barrel, you can take oak staves, oak chips, oak shavings, and put those in the barrel. And if you suspend them in a bag or on a string, you can leave them there, taste the wine as it progresses, and once it reaches that level that you want, you can pull that back out.
And keep it in the barrel.
And still keep it in the barrel.
Continued micro-oxidation.
Have you ever done that with this barrel?
I think I did with one that was not too long ago, but I don't remember which
I
one.
remember
I think
doing
I
that.
have.
Would be, it's much more controlled. You know exactly how much oak you're putting in, exactly how fresh that piece of
Yeah,
oak is.
it's
So
different though. Chips and staves don't. It's kind of like forced hard air heating or a wood stove. The wood stove has got penetrating heat, so the oak that comes out of the barrel, to me, tends to permeate the wine more effectively than the oak chips. That's not a really good analogy, but there's a different flavor and character to it.
Well, there's also more surface area. There's
There's
no doubt about that.
There's a lot more. That's why people buy new barrels every season
Yeah.
as a percentage of what they're using for their wines. And then after 3 or 4 years, they're getting rid of some of their barrels as they bring new ones in.
If any of you out there want to see what's written on here, there's a picture on the posting on our Facebook. If you go to our website and under the event tab, there's a Facebook Live tab. If you click on that, you'll see the posting for today's show, and in that posting is a picture of this barrel. I think it might be in the Facebook
it's on the event.
on the event page on Facebook as well. And you can zoom in and see the actual writing on this.
This is really nice.
It's really nice, yeah.
Yeah. It just needed to open
Needed to
up.
open up.
It needed to open up. Wow. All right, I gotta try this 2012 Hermitage. We
Okay.
gotta go to that.
That was already, I think, a favorite of yours, wasn't it? I mean, the 2012 year was a really good year.
It was a great year. We didn't really know at the time when
We
the
never
fruit
do.
comes right. You know, you go and you pick a strawberry, you pick some grape, you eat some blueberries, and they all taste good. And when you ferment them, the real character of the fruit and the nuance that's there presents itself. But it's very difficult to tell from just eating that fruit, unless you have years and years of experience with a particular vineyard or a particular type of fruit, and you've tasted those season after season.
So,
So this is a blend that's not like our current Hermitage blend either.
I just want to make a mention. That's a good cork.
Look at that. That's the first time we had our logo on it.
Yeah.
This is a full with the branding, which is rare
A
actually.
lot of people ask us all the time, how do you make the same wine every year? And we always try and help people understand that it's really not possible anywhere. It's not possible. You can't. It's not possible. And this is a really good year to talk about that, because if anybody's been paying attention to the news, you've noticed that the fruit crop in New Hampshire, including grapes, has been nearly wiped out. People are reporting 80, 90, and some 100% loss for grapes, apples, stone fruit.
Got hammered.
Yeah, so
Peaches, plums, they're just.
this is going to be a hard year for us to make wine. We're going to have a hard time finding fruit. We're going to likely have to get fruit from places we didn't get it from before in some cases. So it may be harder this year to repeat some of the things that we know go well or do well from the fruit we're used to buying at.
Yeah, you mentioned that someone has a bottle of Ozark. Enjoy that, because there's not going to be Ozark back for a couple of
I
years.
should grab myself some of that.
I cannot. I mean, I love this plum, but it's a very specific plum. It's grown down at Brookdale Farm in Hollis, New Hampshire, and they're completely wiped out. And so I don't know, I doubt I will be able to find Ozark plums
This
to
year.
be used for wine. You know, sourcing fruit, most places that commercially make jams or various things, adding fruit flavoring, they'll buy fruit concentrates or frozen fruit, and that fruit is picked, and it's chopped up, and it's frozen. It's great. But it's not necessarily at peak ripeness. And fruit, as you all know at home, when you have a banana or you have an orange or a strawberry that's sitting on your counter, there's a perfect point which to eat that strawberry. A little bit too soon, and it's a little tangy, a little sour, not that flavorful. A little bit too long, it's a little old, oxidized, raisiny, soft, mushy. It's just not quite right. So there's that perfect point where fruit is giving its full expression of flavor. That's when we want to grab it and turn it into wine.
Right.
So when I bring in 40 crates of plums, I'm looking through every crate and pulling out the plums that are at perfect ripeness and freezing them. If they all look like they're going to come within a day or two, I'll start the fermentation, keeping some out until the rest of them come perfectly ripe and add that to the fermentation.
So you said we wouldn't have it for a couple of years. We wouldn't be able to do a vintage next year.
Well, hopefully I can get it next year, but if I get the fruit next year, it won't be out until 25.
Right, right.
So people will miss it for a while.
So where do we find this wine here?
Right here.
Oh, that's the BEC, you said that.
Actually, that's a late
That
one.
says 14.
Oh, wait a minute.
No,
Wait a
that's,
minute. What's the first year?
No, that's one piece of tape.
Yeah.
BEC 10, 7, 10? But then
Maybe you
also
had it in
2,
here for 2
27,
years.
14?
Yeah, this is
probably
12
2
to
years.
14.
Yeah, so there's 12 and 14, so this was bottled in 14 as the 2012. That makes sense. So this is
2012, not quite Hermitage.
not quite Hermitage. This was the attempts of working with these fruit. Chuck, you and I went to this guy's field in Vermont.
Yeah.
And we were buying black currants. Remember that? We drove across the river, we went up some dirt road. Supposedly the address was here. We drove past it. We're like, wait a minute, is that it?
Yeah, one little
One little place, little,
in the middle of nowhere.
the kitchen doors.
I went there one year too and picked
Did you
fruit
go
up.
there?
Did I go with one of you? Yeah.
Oh, I think you guys went the next year, and that year I actually returned the fruit.
Yeah.
They actually took it back.
Because there was a problem.
Because it was,
Yeah.
it was a problem. It was a rainy year. But 2012 was exceptional. It was just a great year.
And that was a guy who moved here from England and invented a special harvester
Yeah.
for harvesting this
Yeah,
fruit.
these stainless steel fingers or something that would
Yeah.
pluck the black currants.
Yeah, he was quite the character.
So, totally different from current Hermitage because the black currant is just massive in this. Just very strong. She's just kind of, she's just like, this is too sour for me.
Yeah, I think it, maybe it's more time, but it smells kind of off, it tastes very,
Off, when you say off, what do you mean? Because it doesn't seem to have an off flavor to it or smell, is it?
it's sharp.
There's nothing off in this one.
Off.
So there's nothing,
There's a
nothing
sharpness.
wrong with it.
No,
It's
there's nothing wrong with
just, it's just the balance.
it. You're smelling the currants.
And if Maya smells this, she's like, I'm not drinking that. She can't stand the smell of black currants. And she said, she'll ask me, does that have black currants in it? I'm not drinking it. She just doesn't care for it. So this is blueberry, a whole bunch of elderberry, a whole bunch of currant, black currants. So it's much more tangy, it's much more black currant, earthy elderberry.
So really, the elderberryness has reached a stage of ripeness in the bottle that has a flavor I don't think I've ever tasted. It is unbelievable. There's a little bit of, sort of olive kind of
They're
character.
definitely olive, I get that.
Right.
Absolutely.
And this ripe, it would be like if you make elderberry into an apple and bite into that little bit of ripeness in there. It has that elderberry flavor, but it's not the bitey, sharp.
You know where the elderberry came from? There was that guy dad was foraging. His father taught him how to forage, and his arms were always all scratched out. And he knew of all these old homesteads all over New Hampshire. And he would go and forage and pick these elderberries. And they were just fantastic because they were just the local perfect terroir. That's elderberries. And I struggled for years after this trying to find elderberries. And we landed on an organic grower in Arkansas. We had an organic grower in Maine for a while.
Who decided after tasting our wine that they were
His
going to drink wine?
His son, he was a dentist or a doctor who started growing elderberries for his own health, to have elderberries for their health benefits and to sell them to others for nutritional supplement. And then I gave him some of the wine made with his fruit.
That was
And
foolish.
his son, no, it was great. I told him, I said, it was his son that turned on by it, which is great. And I said, if you want any help, I'll tell you how I made this wine and all that stuff. But I lost my source of elderberries at that point. And then you got some for us in New York, in Vermont.
I remember in the early days we got elderberries for a brief period in Vermont.
Yeah.
Then we got them from that guy initially, and then Vermont, and then we got them from Maine, and then I found a source in New York, and that's why I told you we met in the parking lot of the camp by Newfound Lake, and I picked elderberries up from them. They had delivered them over because their child was going to camp.
Elderberries out of the guy's trunk at exit 22.
Yeah.
Off of I-9.
It's funny to remember these
In
things.
Sanderton.
But it was a pain. Every year, what we thought was a good source turned out to not be a source. And eventually you found this great source down in, and it's sad that we have to go all the way to Oklahoma or Arkansas to get them.
But he's a great guy.
He's a great guy. He's the farmer. He owns the land. He's the farmer. He grows the berries, and he drives them up to us every year to deliver them himself.
And to a bunch of
Other
health
places.
food stores and stuff along the way.
Yeah.
This reminds me more of, current hermitage we drink like a much more classic red wine, whereas this tastes like when I had like elderberry tonic.
What I love is I love the richness of this wine. It's just so rich and so smooth, so packed full of flavor. And that's, in the great wine world, Bordeaux and Pinot de Burgundy, there are certain vintages that stand out compared to others. And those vintages are when the wine becomes much more impactful, much more flavorful, much more concentrated. And that's kind of the key. In 2012, that's what the fruit beer in New England did.
How much more of this do we have? Because I'm going to guess this also will taste delicious in 10 years.
I think we have 8 bottles of it.
10 years, I think.
My
This is-
last comment is the mouthfeel. I don't remember any elderberry style.
Yeah, you've got the body here.
Oh, I know, it's super
Yeah.
rich. And it's
Super
just,
rich. And I think that
Melody.
the elderberry form one has always been sort of thin as a matter of character. This is just like from the aromatics. It has that elderberry. I mean, it's really, it's the fruit that's in the wine. Maybe the blueberry is a little subtler, but I think it actually, the blueberry gives a little bit of a glow.
yeah.
Essence in the end. But from the beginning to
You
the
should have
end,
done a sommelier.
this is really a special treat. Sorry, Matt. 8 bottles left.
No, this is really
And
nice.
so Matt
Even
says-
black currants can be so aggressive, so acidic and difficult.
Matt, let us know. You say I have 8 of those, but I don't know. This was coming from several minutes ago, so I'm not sure if he's referring to this wine or the Red Scare or another. Matt, which wines do you have 8 of? Please.
Maybe he has 8 of the same bottles. Cheers to
Yeah,
you.
cheers to that. Yeah, well done.
He's about to pick up 2012.
And there, this is gonna.
Hang on to him, Matt.
Yeah.
I know it's going to be hard for you, but you can do it. Perseverance.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's this wine or if it was the last one you were drinking.
These are the sorts of things that really propel me more and more to is tasting this stuff.
So-
I mean, it just excites me to keep working on this stuff because it's so rewarding to have this come out. And you've always said, our best wines will be after we're long gone.
Exactly.
Because some of these will still be getting better.
Right. But, so this is what, and I'm in agreement with you that that's one of the best things about what we're doing right here is that what we started on is a path that it can't be duplicated. Nobody else is doing it. You're the only one.
People should do this.
Well, maybe somebody is in their garage somewhere, but there is no other winery in the world that is taking the time that you've taken to go through all these renditions, all these different blends and various structures in honey and no honey and this and that and this and that and experimented with barrels and you're on this path.
I use that new
turning
AI
path.
search thing that Carl
Chat
told me about.
GPT.
No, this was a perception or something like that I told you about, and I queried like 40 or 50 different types over a couple of days, searching the globe for dry blueberry wines and trying to pull out information about different dry blueberry wines. And it was really lacking coming back. I know there's more out there than this.
I am very confident. I am very confident when I say there is really no other commercial winery in the world that is grappling with the concepts that you're grappling with. There are wineries that have produced wonderful dry fruit wines. There's no doubt about that. I've had them, but one-offs, not as part of their mission as an institution.
Yeah, that's all. This is all.
Yeah, what this is about for you is this mission as an institution to figure out how do we take the vast variety of wonderful fruits that are growing in this part of the world and combine them in such a unique way that they're going to make a wine that is so fascinating and so interesting. And,
I mean, wine has an allure, like a really nice burden to it, or it just has this whole conversational thing that's a whole subject in and of itself to spend time with and pay attention to. And to create that out of these things here is really, was always the mission.
it's the mission, and it continues to be.
And it continues to be.
It just gets more exciting.
And
Yeah, I know, because when we taste them from 12 years ago, we're learning new ideas.
you got stuff in here right now.
There, see, you might make it to be able to try.
I'm hoping I
Oh,
see.
no.
Is it this? Is that
And
what
we're
it
going
is?
to talk about that.
Oh, yeah,
too.
so yeah,
Because
we have 9 minutes left.
9 minutes. I think we
So-
got one
Well,
more.
I think we're ready to sample it.
Okay.
Or do you,
I don't know.
you could look
I'll say
at
one
it.
more comment while we're bottling this.
Oh, the Deep Blue Reserve? That's what you want to try.
When we talk about wine, comparing wines with food, what would you do with this wine?
Hey,
This is a wine where you open the wine and you center an activity. No, you center the activity around talking about the wine and what it's like all by itself. Because it is the whole thing, just in this.
Yeah, any wine, it's a full-on conversation.
12-year-old fruit wine from a little winery in New Hampshire that had this mission to create this thing, just, if you can have the opportunity to sit down and enjoy it, just forget pairing it, forget doing it, just enjoy it.
So that's a great point, Chuck. And whether it's our wine or anybody else's wine, but taking the time to stop for a few minutes when you open a bottle of wine and think about it. Where did it come from? Who made it? How is it made? What are you tasting?
That's what he's saying is you need to have a listening room. Because that's exactly what this is. This is liquid music. And when you listen to it, you're not thinking about anything else. You're not having a conversation. You're not thinking about food.
And I see,
You are
so many
listening to that wine.
people.
You're engaging with that wine. And when you're upstairs listening to music here in a listening room, you focus on that wine and you get that music and you get so much more out of it.
we're gonna shut up. Our Thursday night show, we have a really good pianist coming. I'm told.
Oh,
This
playing
Thursday.
all
You happen
over
to
the
be-
world.
If you can be in the area this Thursday, we have the Improvisions Jazz Studio, and the piano player is particularly fantastic this week. So,
He's played on 6 continents. He's phenomenal.
yeah, you mentioned that. I wanted to
But-
give a shout out to that. Question from Matt.
Now,
Have you
here's
ever
another question. You're kidding.
Have you ever followed a strong red with a white in your barrel? If so, what? And if not, why not? Because this year, most of these tend
So,
to be kind of reds and things.
No.
So, no, you have the flower power.
Three vintages of Flower Power went through here. So absolutely, Matt. You know, it's a great question because a lot of people will dedicate barrels to white wines only or red wines only and stay that way. A lot of people, when they bring in a brand new French oak barrel or American oak barrel, they'll put a white wine into it, like a Chardonnay, pull all that oak out, and then dedicate it to their reds, so that they've softened some of the harsh oaks, the instant oak that comes out of it. For me, I don't have any styles that I have to fit whatsoever. People are not worried about a particular color that they're getting from their flower power or their Ozark. So I can put these things in barrels that I put other things in if it makes sense to me. So it's mostly I just decide, well, this makes sense. I love the character of this barrel. I've got the volume that fits perfectly. I'm going to go with this flower power. And so yeah, this has had a few white
Before we
wines.
pour that,
Huh?
I know you want to, but I think this is dry.
That's
Oh,
right.
good point.
And if you drink this after that, you will never, yeah.
Grasshopper. I was going to suggest that, but you seem to be all done on the thing, but you turned it around. Very good. I like it.
That is great.
Yeah, because my point is if you were to, this is a very sweet, very dense, high alcohol dessert wine, and
So we don't forget.
and this is a dry wine. And if you were to have this following that, you would lose your ability to really perceive what's happening in this wine. Yes, it's fermenting in there.
No, it's stuck in a vacuum. So a barrel pulls a vacuum, and when you pull the cork off, you often hear this as it sucks air into it.
So is this going through? Do wines that go in here go through malolactic?
Depends on the wine.
Right, but this does have a malolactic bacteria in it if there's lactic acids to be converted or malolactic acids.
I don't know. I suspect it does. And there's quite a bit of malic in a lot of our fruit that we use. So, you went to a special gathering the other day, which I was
Yes.
excited to hear about. It has to do with greater tourism in the area.
On April 8th, 2024, this part of the world is going to experience a total eclipse. Unfortunately, the complete total eclipse isn't going to occur here. It's going to occur about an hour north of here. It's somewhere.
What?
Yeah, it's passing. We will get 98, 99% here. But the total eclipse is going to occur in the Coas County area. It's just going to miss us a little bit.
Yep.
But it's close. It's darn close. And we'll experience almost full darkness here. But this is a very rare occurrence. It happens around the globe at different places. I think 10 or 15 years ago it happened out in the Midwest, a near total eclipse. And it's a major event. People come from all over the world.
Yeah.
There will be people traveling from all over the world to this area to be in the path of this total eclipse, which takes place over a period of about 8 minutes. I mean, it's slower. The beginning and end of it take a
I
little
watched one when
time.
I was about 12 years old or 8 years old in my driveway on Septo Street in Northridge, California. My dad had a telescope set up with these special
Lens.
lenses for it, and he was showing us that we could track it by looking at the shadows underneath the tree with the leaves. When you look at the shadows of the leaves underneath the tree, they all get little bites out of them. As the eclipse is
Yeah,
coming
yeah, yeah.
on, I'm like, this is magic. What are you talking about? But sure enough, the leaves all look like normal shadowed leaves, and then all of a sudden they all have little bites out of them. And he says, see, it's getting closer. Now we can take a look, and we could look into this thing, and it was blackish green,
Yeah.
thick lens, and we saw this solar eclipse.
We had a partial one 6 years ago.
Yeah, a few years ago there was.
There's going to be. Yeah, there's going to be 2 this year. There's going to be some form of eclipse, a different kind, happening in October of this year, and then another one in this major one in April. And so this gathering was a group of tourist-minded people in the industry, tourism industry, asking how are we going to manage the tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people that are going to show up to this area. And so we're going to do something special here. And what's amazing is that Ken has already crafted this wine that we have
called
decided.
Aurora.
It's called Aurora, and we are going to make this wine into our Eclipse wine.
So this is a Temple young teenager. Anybody smell sulfur?
Oh wow! Know what I smell? Campfire.
I think it smells like Cheerios.
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 Yeah. Yep,
So
Cheerios.
My first impression was campfire. It's really interesting.
campfire. So I got a burnt match. A
Yeah.
sulfur smell.
Well, okay. Well, there's something like that.
So this is made.
I get Cheerios now that you said it. I get where you're getting at.
Yeah, I can get the Cheerios. Yeah. Or Fruit Loops even.
Well, so, but it is, so HB Aurora, so Aurora is a
It's a
type
type
of honeyberry, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. I can
And-
smell honeyberry.
So this is a type of honeyberry grown right up the road here by Ben Shaba at Great Northern Berries. And we
Oh
use
my
a
God.
blend of his honeyberries for our Northern Berry Red, which
Oh
has
my
become quite
God!
popular.
This is so good.
And this was a fun experiment to work with just the Aurora version of the honeyberry. He's planted a whole bunch more because I really like these. They're much more wine-like than the regular honeyberries. And last year, 2 years ago, birds wiped them out. Last year, bears wiped out his Auroras. It's
If I was there.
farming
that's
is
what I would
not easy at all.
So he's
So-
going to have some a hard, a steel fenced, barbed wired
Yeah.
cage with bird netting around it to grow these berries in northern New Hampshire.
So this is a mead. So this is
You would never know it.
100% honey along with the honey berries
I don't taste the honey at all.
fermented.
This is shaping up to be one of your best wines. This is really special.
So honeyberry, it's so rich in
Yes, but it doesn't have that rip your
But it doesn't have the bite.
face off
No,
It doesn't
honeyberry.
have the super bite.
it doesn't have the.
So the residual sugar on this from the honey did what I was hoping it would do, and that coats your mouth with a richer, softer. This is a dry wine, but it has that sweet perception.
I'm
A year
surprised.
from now, this is going to be. It's really going to be. Nice.
Well,
I
as
don't
those
taste the honey, which is surprising, but it's not at the same time because honeyberries are so strongly flavored
Yeah.
that I guess it makes sense that the honeyberry flavor overpowers the honey. Because usually on most of your meats, even though they're dry, you still taste the flavor of honey.
Right.
But this,
No, this worked
It's
about
not
right.
like
I've been
sweetness went up.
I've been ricocheting quite a bit with honeyberries because they're very intense fruit. So my first vintage of honeyberry wine was too strong, too acidic, too alcoholic. And over the years, I've been narrowing it down more into something that's drinkable as a wine, that brings something to the glass that you want to pay attention to, that you want to listen to.
this wine, we're putting this in the library. This is
So-
10 years from now. This is going to be one of the most amazing.
Well, next
wines.
year for the Aurora,
we're going to release this.
we need to release this. You're going to have some fun with the
We're going
marketing.
to give a free pair of solar sunglasses
Oh, yeah?
with
All
every
right.
purchase.
All right.
Yeah, so you can watch the
I'm going to be looking
eclipse.
at the sidewalk.
You're gonna release
Little
this
bites
on,
out of it.
on that day or?
It
Thereabouts.
should, it should be ready.
If
by
it's
then.
ready, yeah.
It should be ready by then.
April 8th.
20 gallons, we have
20
20 gallons.
gallons.
So we have,
So
You better get in line.
it's about 16 cases
It's gonna be in
half bottles.
half bottles.
Yeah, we'll do half bottles.
Yeah,
So we can share more of it.
we're going to have a line. We're going to have to get those straps
It's
out
a
of
couple
the.
hundred bottles. That's it.
It's a mellow milk.
It's phenomenal.
Well, the 36 of them are going in the library. Just right out of the gate, I'm
12
telling
coming
you.
home with me.
Yeah. Well, there's 12 here. You might get to try
I
some
said
of
there was
these.
16. There's actually 18, but 16 is what goes out to the public.
Never mind. Forget all this, but enjoy the eclipse.
All right, we're past the time. Let's finish our
Hold
show.
on, we got one more wine. There's a whole story.
Finish our show with one more
There's a
wine.
very important story here too, because this
We opened another one.
this sent us down on a.
We
a
have to
path.
drink it.
Bonus time.
Bonus time. Well, we screwed up the whole first 10 minutes of the show. Bob did. I did. Thank you very much.
oh yeah, it's all Bob's fault.
No.
Somebody broke the camera.
Somebody broke the camera. That's what happened.
Well, somebody, we showed up here a little bit.
Somebody
bit late.
spent too much time on a motorcycle. Somebody didn't get out of the tasting room in time. Somebody broke the camera. everybody's at fault, but we didn't do anything wrong. We did it all just right, right?
Matt wants to know if you'll autograph.
So this
Of
line,
course we will.
this
We have
line,
before, haven't we, Matt?
Yes, certainly, Matt. If you bring any bottles or if you purchase bottles, we're happy to
this line is right here, 2013 Deep Blue, 5/10/14 to 12/7/15.
So it's about a year and a half-ish.
So about a year and a half, a year and 2 months. No, a year and a half, yeah. And this got started by Chuck.
This is the origin deep blue.
This is the origin of Deep Blue Reserve, and I think was
I
the
thought it was
best.
2012.
Nope.
So what is it, 2012?
I wish it was 12. I wish I had made this in 12, and he had discovered this in 12, and I had played with it in 12.
So it was, he discovered, well, tell the story. It would have been a bottle of 12 that
This was bottled in
got
15,
untrusted,
vintage.
right? And so
fermented
13, we used that inspiration to make this.
Yeah.
So you never top this barrel, you put it in this and never top it.
Correct.
For a year.
For a year and a half.
And it's so freaking good. Oh my God. I mean, this is like a better.
This was the best.
So what's the
And this is going to be around another 10 years. Easy. How much more do we have of this? Case?
Zero.
Zero?
No, I'm sure there's some, but I'm not going to go. No, I don't know. There's not many. So.
Not many, yeah. We're down to the
I think
last.
it's a partial case. Maybe 7 or 8.
Well, we still make this.
We do. Wait till you try the 20. So right now we're on 19, which I think is a really nice vintage, but 20? 20 was one of those
Because
years
20 was a
I
year
didn't
that
know-
blueberries
I didn't
were
know
off the
this, but
rails.
It's like our Petit Blue and
Yeah.
our Petit Blue Reserve. And 20, it's just, you can't replicate that in the fruit.
This is another conversation.
It is a total conversation.
Has Deep Blue Reserve always been aged in this barrel?
No. Well, this is the only vintage.
The only one, yeah.
Because then I needed to scale it up.
Right.
And it's really risky. So when you don't top off a wine, when you make a wine and put a wine in a barrel, about a liter of wine disappears out of the barrel every month. And so the surface area of the wine keeps increasing as the wine evaporates. And so a winemaker will come and pull the bung, sample it, see if everything's going fine, and then fill it back up to get rid of that head stuff.
That's a lot of your Cosmos are.
All
They're
those,
back to
they're
top
back.
of your barrels, right?
Then we top them up. And all the other wines in here get topped up as they're aging, except this one.
So, to finish this show, because we are way over.
What?
No,
Just click a button, we keep drinking,
Hey,
talking,
Go
right?
ahead, go ahead. We can work on our.
we do need
Oh,
to put
sorry.
closure
Okay,
to
okay,
it.
closure. If you like this
I'd
show,
love it if everybody would
button,
just
click
stay.
check. This is when you do it, right?
Yeah, now, you can now decide, because you've seen the show. But we like the pre-likers.
Oh, quick question
pre-markers.
before you do a conclusion. We think,
So tell us, how long can you age Deep Blue like this one in bottle? Another years.
Oh,
I would say another 10 years. So this wine, 20 years.
So Deep Blue versus Deep Blue Reserve. If you had a bottle of Deep Blue, could you age it for 10 years?
I'd probably sample, if you wanted to really try this and nail it down, which is what we do with our library, is you keep a few bottles of it, buy half a case or a case of a wine, and then try it every year. And take your notes without looking at the previous year's notes while you drink that wine. And then look back and see how that compares to what you had before.
Make sure that you have a proper condition in your cellar to do it, because it is a shame when your cellar doesn't have the right conditions. And we'll do another show on that if we need to, or ask us, because you don't want to put expensive,
Could we do a
valuable
show on my
wines.
basement?
Yeah, sure.
Because I've got bottles all over the place down there, some of which are a little bit scary.
So yeah.
That would be a fun.
And you know the basement because we did plumbing down
Well,
there.
it's where it all started.
That's where it all started.
That would be a fun.
But I just want, the comment I wanted to make as closing remarks for the show
Closing.
was,
Oh yeah, that's what we're doing.
yeah, because we do need to eventually do that. And my closing remarks were, this show, for more than anything else that we have talked about in the last, a dozen or so shows, is about who we are. It's about what gets us excited.
This is what we are about.
That's what I'm talking about.
This is it.
This is it. This is what we talked about today. The fact that we're drinking wines, multiple wines that came through this barrel over the years, that this barrel was given to Ken by his dad, and that we're still bringing it forward into the future and creating the next best thing, Aurora. And it is what Hermit Woods is all
Deep
about.
Berry just came out of this. We just released that last week.
I can help it. I grabbed a deep bottle.
Deep bottle.
A
Deep
deep
bottle.
bottle. No,
She's
not
cut
deep
off.
enough.
Deep
Not
bottle.
Deep, not deep enough.
Not deep
I
of them are.
I grabbed a bottle of Deep Berry for the tasting bar today, and I'm sharing it with guests for the day. And
Good.
I think I sold several bottles. It was
Did you enjoy it?
it was a big hit today.
I really
Yeah.
like
Nice.
None of our bottles of wine are deep enough. It's a problem.
I was actually I went through more than half of the bottle today, so
That Deep Berry was kind of interesting because the wine that went into this had aged in carboys for 2 years and turned orange into like a sherry made out of 100% strawberries from Ben's place. And then it got combined with a blueberry black raspberry thing that I had created to make Red Scare out of on the side, trying to see if I needed to do a little bit more black raspberry or less black raspberry. Those got combined together and then put into this barrel for a year.
So I've been telling people, I was talking about this barrel a lot today with people at the tasting bar, talking about how this Deep Berry is definitely a limited release.
Yeah.
That it came from
For
a,
wine.
a long, many years of this and that.
Yeah, it started in
putting together.
2019.
It's definitely, you could never make that again because
No,
it
that won't happen again.
was, just a very
That's the other thing that's
interesting
kind of
way to
special
get
about
here from that.
music and wines. It happens once. Really, it can get recorded and reproduced on some level, but not the live performance and not the live consumption of a wine.
So with that, thank you for joining us live
There we go.
on Monday
Live,
night.
exactly.
We will see you
We're still live.
next week.
Oh, I have to have more. There we go. Hang on, everybody. Marika? Yeah.
He made it, and he did get the sample out here somehow. He was.
All right.
Cheers.
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 Hopefully we'll see you next Monday, 5:30, or maybe sometime before.
Or in person.
Or in person.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us today. It was a great show. Eventually, once we figured out the camera and all that stuff.
Oh, it's
Thanks
fun.
for being patient with us always. Cheers.
So I gotta buy a new camera.